wins, plus $1,000 bonus cash. Hurry in today.
Tonight, several developing headlines as we come on the air. The alleged school shooter, the new video, what it shows, and Nikolas Cruz in court. And now the husband and wife who took him in, breaking their silence, answering the questions, what did they know, were there signs, and what they said to him after the massacre, and what he said back. Also tonight, the Twitter storm President Trump unleashes. The president under mounting pressure from many of the school kids at that school to do something. And the president taking aim, saying the FBI missed signals in Florida, spending too much time on Russia. The reaction was swift. The major winter storm tonight, 24 states from California to Vermont. Snow, ice, flooding, more than 100 accidents and counting. The brawl at sea, the pictures, the huge fight on board a cruise ship. More than 20 family members involved, and tonight police now investigating possible criminal charges. Fergie responds tonight amid the social media storm after her rendition of the national anthem. What she's now saying tonight, and President Trump's tweet about Oprah not long before midnight, why he's calling her insecure.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on this President's Day. And tonight, the president unleashing that Twitter storm involving the Florida school shooting, the FBI, and Russia. And it comes as we learn more about that deadly shooting in Parkland, Florida. Nikolas Cruz in court for a preliminary hearing today. And this video now emerging, allegedly fighting at school. Tonight, we're learning more about what that fight might have centered around with Cruz. And for the first time, the family that took him in after his mother died from the flu, now breaking their silence. ABC's Victor Akendo leads us off from Florida tonight.
Nikolas Cruz appearing in court, flanked by police officers, head bowed, eyes trained to the ground. Tonight, investigators piecing together clues from his past, including this video obtained by ABC affiliate WPLG, allegedly showing Cruz in a white shirt fighting at school. Student Ariana Lopez says the fight was over a girl Cruz briefly dated.
He would hit her, he would threaten her.
Cruz eventually expelled after the fight, but Lopez says she and her friends had made multiple reports to school officials before the fight, alerting them to alarming behavior from Cruz.
He texted them, threatening them, saying he was going to kill them and their friends and their families, that he was going to use the guns that he owned. And now the couple who took Cruz into their home last November after his mother died of the flu, breaking their silence.
Everything everybody seems to know, we didn't know. We had rules, and he followed every rule to the T. And he was very polite. He seemed normal.
James and Kimberly Sneed say they never saw what his former neighbors did, cruelty and killing of animals, or those Instagram posts showing Cruz holding a pistol and another, a large knife.
As far as the animal killings, he never did anything like that at our house. We have animals, and he loved our animals loved him.
There's no way I'd let anybody in my house if I thought he was torturing animals at all. And if we'd known anything about the Instagram accounts, he wouldn't have even been in our home.
The Sneeds owned guns and knew Cruz had his own guns, but say they were locked away.
Before he moved in, one of the stipulations is he had to get a gun safe. And we got a gun safe on the way back from Lantana from moving his stuff to our house.
And he didn't have free access to this gun safe?
No. I thought I had the only key to the gun safe.
Today, a source familiar with the investigation telling ABC News Cruz had legally purchased 7 guns, including an AK-47 and the AR-15 allegedly used in the massacre. Just hours after the rampage, Kimberly Sneed, who took him in, says she confronted Cruz at the police station after he was arrested.
I says, "Really, Nick? Really?" Yelled at him. And he mumbled something, but I didn't hear it, and he said he was sorry.
He said he was sorry.
But I didn't hear that. I was just furious and heartbroken. Absolutely just heartbroken, devastated. I still can't process it, what he's done, because this wasn't the person that we knew. Not at all.
And Victor Akendo with us live tonight from the school. And Victor, we know the FBI received that tip 6 weeks before the shooting. Tonight, we've also learned there was also an investigation by Florida's Department of Children and Families.
David, ABC News has confirmed there was a DCF investigation that found that Cruz was depressed and that he wanted to buy a weapon, but in the end, they found no signs of neglect, so they closed that investigation. Today, a judge ruled that the entire report should be released to the public. David?
Victor Akendo leading us off on a Monday night. Victor, thank you. President Trump, meanwhile, under growing pressure, much of that pressure from the students themselves, the survivors from that school in Florida, who now plan to march on Washington. as the president unleashes that Twitter storm on everything from the FBI and the shooting to Russia. As those students speak out themselves, they want the president to act. Here's ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl tonight.
Outside the White House today, a group of students calling themselves Teens for Gun Reform staged a protest. One teen holding a sign, "Am I next?" It follows the raw outrage from students at the Parkland, Florida high school who witnessed the carnage firsthand.
They say that tougher gun laws do not decrease gun violence. We call BS!
Enough is enough. The students offering a blunt message to those in power.
This isn't about the GOP. This isn't about the Democrats. This is about the adults. We feel neglected, and at this point, you're either with us or against us.
The president has promised to take action, but he has said nothing specific about what he'd do. His press secretary today saying only the president supports efforts to improve the federal background check system. Over the weekend, the president met with survivors of the attack and also first responders and medical staff, giving a big thumbs up to their efforts. But not long after that, he went after the FBI, tweeting, "Very sad that the FBI missed all of the many signals sent out by the Florida school shooter. This is not acceptable. They are spending too much time trying to prove Russian collusion with the Trump campaign." The president's tweets about Florida and Russia drew bipartisan condemnation. Democratic Congressman Ruben Gallego tweeting, "Children are being buried today. Could you please act presidential at least on their behalf? You really have no shame." But the president seemed fixated on the Russia investigation, and one of many tweets saying, if it was the goal of Russia to create discord, disruption, and chaos within the U.S., then they have succeeded beyond their wildest dreams. They are laughing their asses off in Moscow. The president has repeatedly raised doubts about Russia's involvement, but in one of his 20 tweets this weekend, he denied that, pointing to this moment from the campaign.
I mean, it could be Russia, but it could also be China. It could also be lots of other people. It also could be somebody sitting on their bed that weighs 400 pounds, okay?
And even now, rather than calling out Vladimir Putin, the president today is slamming Democrats, tweeting, "Obama was president up to and beyond the 2016 election, so why didn't he do something about Russian meddling?" In fact, President Obama did confront Putin and slapped sanctions on Russia in December of 2016, also expelling 35 Russian diplomats.
All right, so let's get to John Karl with us live tonight from the White House. And John, the president tweeting about Russia, as you reported there all weekend long, and about his own national security advisor, H.R. McMaster, who said on Russia over the weekend that the evidence is now, quote, incontrovertible. The president then responding to him.
The president directly criticizing H.R. McMaster, saying General McMaster forgot to say the results of the 2016 election were not impacted or changed by the Russians. So while you had heard a lot from the president on Russia, criticizing the Democrats, criticizing President Obama, criticizing his own national security advisor, one person the president did not criticize at all, Vladimir Putin.
John
David?
Karl kicking off another week at the White House. Thank you, John. Next, the winter storm barreling from coast to coast tonight. Alerts in 24 states from California all the way east to Vermont. Heavy snow and icy conditions in Salt Lake City tonight. More than 100 accidents and counting across the country. And look at this flooding in Mason, West Virginia. More rain on the way from Texas all the way up to Michigan. A messy scene across the country. Let's get right to Rob Marciano tracking it all for us tonight. Hey, Rob.
Hey, David, a big system. And we call this a highly amplified pattern. A lot of warmth to the east, cold to the west. Matter of fact, winter weather advisories up for L.A. You see the snows in the mountains there. That'll continue tonight across the northern tier. Some icing as well from Green Bay back through Des Moines. But we're really worried about the rain. Heavy rain overnight. Chicago to Detroit could be a messy morning commute at the very least. And then tomorrow afternoon, another batch of rain kind of focuses down across the mid-south. And by the time Wednesday rolls around, we could see 5 inches of rain in this area. And that's certainly going to run the rivers high. And the temperatures are going to be well above normal, 20 to 25 degrees during the day tomorrow, near 70 degrees in Cleveland, and even warmer on Wednesday, David.
Wow. 73 in the nation's capital. All right, Rob, thanks.
You got it.
Next tonight, the brawl at sea. Chaos erupting on board a Carnival cruise ship. Members of a large extended family repeatedly fighting with other passengers and with security. The captain then making an unscheduled stop. The question tonight, could there now be criminal charges? Here's ABC's Lindsay Janis.
Tonight, Australian police investigating possible criminal charges in this giant brawl aboard a Carnival cruise ship. Witnesses and Carnival blaming members of a large family for instigating the violence.
I was quite scared at the time, feeling quite threatened.
But some passengers complaining the ship's staff didn't keep them safe. Security guards resorting to hitting and kicking passengers. This guard preparing to punch a woman but then stopping himself. Other crew members trying to stop people from filming the chaos.
If you had your phone out like that, it just snatches straight out of your hand.
There were reports of that family engaging in unruly behavior for several days before that giant fight. The ship sailing the South Pacific docking early. 9 members of that family kicked off, 14 other relatives choosing to join them.
David, Carnival tells us the actions of the security team seen in that video are not in line with its values or policies, and it is conducting a complete investigation. David?
Lindsay Janis. Lindsay, thanks. We move on now to the desperate search for a missing Uber and Lyft driver in Los Angeles. He was last seen driving his car. His mother says her son or someone else was using her son's phone calling 911 24 hours after he disappeared. Here's ABC's Kana Whitworth tonight.
Tonight, a frantic search underway for a missing Uber and Lyft driver. Friends taking to the streets and putting up flyers around Los Angeles in hopes of finding 29-year-old Josh Thede.
This is extremely out of the ordinary for Josh. I mean, he would at least tell one person he's taken off.
Thede, who was driving a 2014 black Nissan Altima, vanishing last Sunday. Friends and family say a 911 call was made from his phone the next day.
We are not sure why he made that phone call. There is no transcript of the phone call because there was not a conversation recorded.
His mother finding the call in his phone log and alerting police. That same phone pinging at an address near his home Thursday. And since that time, no contact. And still no sign of Thede or his car. Tonight, the Los Angeles Police Department telling his mother they are investigating several tips that have recently come in.
David, both Uber and Lyft say they are working with law enforcement and will continue to assist however they can. David?
Kana, thank you. There was one more tweet from the president making headlines today, the one he sent not long before midnight last night. It was about Oprah, calling her insecure. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Late last night, just minutes before midnight, President Trump taking to Twitter to slam Oprah. Just watched a very insecure Oprah Winfrey, who at one point I knew very well, interview a panel of people on 60 Minutes.
Polls are showing that respect for the United States is eroding around the world.
The former talk show host sitting down with a group of Michigan voters, but Trump didn't approve, tweeting, "The questions were biased and slanted, the facts incorrect. Hope Oprah runs so she can be exposed and defeated just like all of the others." Speculation swirled that Oprah was considering a run for president in 2020 after this speech at the Golden Globes.
That a new day is on the horizon.
When asked if he could beat her,
yeah, I'll beat her. Oprah would be a lot of fun.
But Oprah recently put the rumors to bed.
It's just not in my spirit. It's not my DNA.
It was actually on Oprah's show back in 1988 when she asked Trump if he would ever run for president.
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't.
Now she's the one taking a pass, even as the president continues to tweet.
All right, Lindsay Davis here with us tonight, and President Trump now calling Oprah insecure, as you pointed out, but in the past he had high praise for her. He even joked at one point, or maybe he wasn't joking, saying he would like the idea of her as a running mate for him.
Yes, that's right. Back in 1999, when he was considering a run for president as an independent, he told Larry King that Oprah would be his first choice for a running mate. He said, quote, "She's popular, she's brilliant, she's a wonderful woman. She would be sort of like me."
But just to be clear, 60 Minutes Overtime, Oprah in recent days said, not interested.
Not happening.
All right. Keep us posted, Oprah. Lindsay, thanks. And to other news. The Winter Olympics in South Korea tonight. The Team USA women's hockey team going for the gold, crushing Finland 5-0 in a semifinal match. Now set to face off against the powerhouse Canadian team in the final. And the new doping scandal tonight in curling. Russia's bronze medal winner in the mixed curling event reportedly failing a drug test. Now that could keep his country's banned team from being reinstated and marching under the national flag at the closing ceremony. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Monday. The uproar over the national anthem. You might have seen this one. Fergie now responding tonight, what she's saying about the performance. Also ahead, the postal worker shot and killed on an American highway. The search for the suspects tonight. The new health headline breaking today. The possible blood test that could help diagnose autism. We'll have more on that. And the mega blockbuster.